Hey guys, what's up? Caleb down here, and today we're going to check out the HUXWRX Flow 9K Ti. Let's see how this guy rolls. Let's check it out. Okay, so I wish I could say I had hundreds of thousands of rounds to this thing, and I don't. And I wish I could say that HUXWRX sent this to me, but they didn't. So I spent my money on this, and I have maybe, I don't know, 500-600 rounds through it, mostly 9mm, and I've shot some other calibers through it, but enough to say I have an opinion on it. And so for what it's worth, this is my review of the Flow 9K Ti from HUXWRX. Okay, so I have wanted to get a HUXWRX can for a while. I was almost going to get their, is it the Ventum or Ventus? Ventum 762 or Ventum 556, whichever one. They're 556 versions of the cans. And I really wanted to get some because I think those ones are hub compatible and you could clean them and stuff. And I was like, I really wanted to do that. Then I had a friend who uses their cans for work, and he was like, yeah, they're great, but then the maintenance is terrible, and he didn't, you know, he just had a bad taste in his mouth about it, and I was like, I'm not sure. And then HUXWRX comes out with the Flow 9K Ti, and if you know me very well at all and you watch any of my videos, it should be pretty apparent that I am a sucker for a good 556 K can. Shorter little, did I say 556? 9mm can, 9mm cans. So whenever they came out with this and I saw that there was a SHOT Show and then I saw that it popped up on Silencer's shop, I was like, dadgummit, I'm gonna get it. So we got it, we've had it for a little while, and I have to say, spoiler alert, I really like this can. I really like this can. Again, spoiler alert, this thing really does well as far as pushing those gases out the front of the can and not splattering you with just stuff all over your face whenever you shoot this, especially on pistols and 9mm PCCs. I mean, dadgum, this thing does really good. So, there is no real disclaimer because I bought this, and so this is my own thoughts. And just like I say other times, I guess the disclaimer would be, there's always going to be this bias, or however you might want to say, I think it's a bias, right? Because I spent my money on it, so even subconsciously, I'm going to be defending my purchase to some degree or other because I spent my money on it. So take what I say with a grain of salt. This is one guy's opinion of his experience with his can, okay? So take it for what it's worth. What comes in the box and specs, that's what we're going to hit here real quick, and then we will go to the range, shoot this thing a little bit, and give our final thoughts. So what comes in the box? This stuff. This is what comes in the box. I'm not going to sit here and open it. This is empty, but it just comes, it's kind of a big box, and it can take up some room on the shelf, but that's not a big deal. Who cares? If you really don't want this, throw it away. You don't need this because this is going to live on your gun or in your suppressor box bag thing, whatever. So who cares about that? You get a sticker. You get your, well, a lot of companies are doing this nowadays, and I'm not upset. I think this is fine. You get a little QR code that has your instruction manual. That's fine. I'd rather have that because it's less manuals to keep up with, and you can just go look it up on the internet anyway. You get your can, obviously, and you get your tool. This is something that a lot of you are going to like. This not only comes with the can and the tool, but it comes with a piston housing and your half by 28 piston. So they do include it. You're ready to go out of the box with your entire suppressor to throw on your pistol and get to work, right? Get to having some fun and stuff. That's cool. That is cool. And it's not outrageously priced. I was expecting when I saw that they came out with one that this is going to be like around $1,000-ish. It's not. It's a couple $100 cheaper than that. I'm not going to say the exact price because prices fluctuate and change. Go look it up. It's fine. But it's less than $1,000. Maybe right at $1,000 after you get your tax stamp, depending on where you get the suppressor. And it could be cheaper than that. So anyway, that's this guy, and that's the that's what you get in the box. Specs, I'm going to throw them up there on the screen for you. I'm not a huge specs guy. But this is a 3D printed can, and it is titanium. It is really light, so this has some interesting features that are worth noting. So I'm going to throw them up on the screen, and then I'm going to read them off to you, the high points that I think are interesting. and then we'll go shoot this thing. All right, so the weight, according to their website, is 4.8 ounces empty. No booster housing, no nothing. I got like 4.5 ounces whenever I measured it, so that's pretty cool. Caliber rating is 9mm. It says 22 long rifle. I wouldn't do that, but you can. 300 blackout supers and subs, and 350 legend. Materials, like we mentioned earlier, grade 5 titanium. The mount, like we said earlier, is 1/28 booster piston system. That all comes in the box. And this is hub compatible, meaning you can stick whatever hub, mounts, 3 lugs, whatever you want to put on there. That's awesome. That's awesome. Very, very cool. No restrictions on barrel length. It is full auto rated with 300 blackout. And they recommend that you do a detailed cleaning after 2,000 rounds. Those are the major things that I want to point out. There's more stuff on there. You could pause it and you could actually go look it up on their website. If you really want to know some more about it, that's the place to go, right? Don't look at reviews for all the spec data. Go to their website because they're the manufacturers. They got the specs on it. So, without further ado, let's hit the range. Let's shoot this thing on some different hosts and things and see how it performs. All right, guys, like I said, color me impressed. I am becoming more and more and more of a fan of flow-through cans. They kind of rhymed. Didn't mean to do that. But I really am. I really am. Especially on pistols and PCCs. Since I really enjoy shooting suppressed 9mm specifically, for just various different reasons and stuff, having a can that does not spit jump back at you is really, really nice. Not only for like health issues and all that other stuff, it's just nice not to get peppered in your face when you shoot suppressed. It's really, I mean, yeah, who wants to get hit in the face, right? At the cost of suppressing the gun, that's what you got to live with sometimes. But now that you got cans like this, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Now, talking about this guy in his wheelhouse, he is a 9mm can. Okay, so 9mm is this guy's bread and butter. That's what he did the absolute best on. Subsonic 300 Blackout, he sounded good. We shot it on a, I believe it was a 6-inch and a 5.5-inch 300 Blackout, and he sounded good with 300 Blackout subs. With supers, he's right there. Some people of you have asked, you know, in some of the shorter videos I put out about this guy, 300 Blackout supers is okay. It's not this guy's wheelhouse necessarily. If you want optimum suppression, you need their longer version. From what I'm understanding, haven't shot that one, the Range 36, or get a 30 cal can. If you really want to get the absolute best out of 300 Blackout supers, don't get a 9mm can, get a 30 cal can. But for subsonics, this guy did really, really well. And again, speaking to the flow-through technology and stuff, it was very apparent to me that on other little 9mm cans that I have that are rated for 300 Blackout, they would cycle and function fine in my 300 Blackout systems and my ARs and stuff, but when I put this guy on, the cycling systems wouldn't quite work all the time because it's allowing those gases out the suppressor instead of, you know, recycling all those gases to cycle the system. Does that make sense? So this guy, the flow through was very apparent. It was absolutely flowing those pressures and gases out the front of the can instead of back into the system, which is what you want. And if you're going to do this, you're going to need to tune your gas systems if you're going to run this thing primarily, you know, on your 300 Blackouts and stuff like that. On 7.62x39, I did not talk to HUXWRX. I have no relationship with them. I just looked up pressure and stuff, you know, for 300 Blackout versus 7.62x39. And it's been my understanding before, and other companies I've talked to, if it's rated for 300 Blackout Super, then you should take this with a grain of salt. I'm no professional, but this is my understanding of it, and this is how I've had these things perform for me. It should, in those instances, work with 7.62x39 if it's 300 Blackout Super rated, okay? Because they're close enough that it should be fine. Since there's no barrel length restriction on this, I just went ahead and did it, right? I shot it on my PAP M92 and I shot it on my Wasser 10, so an AK-47. And on the AK, on the longer, it's a 16-inch pin and welded, so 14-something inch. But it performed decently. It performed well. I would say it performed good. It performed good or decently. It's not the best thing, and again, this is a 9mm can. All right, so keep that in mind. It's stretching it to put it on an AK. On the PAP M92, that's a short system, and that was loud. That spiked my ears a little bit. That was a little bit loud. But again, you could get by in a pinch. You could use it for that. It is nice that it is blasting, again, the flow-through thing. You're not getting peppered back in the face. So if you're going to shoot with ears anyway and you just want to reduce the overall noise that's going on, then yeah, it'd do great. It'd be a great option for that. And again, I haven't used the Range 36, but I would assume, which is a dangerous thing to say, but I would assume the Range 36 would probably, more than likely, I mean, it's going to be better. It's going to be better than this guy, just given the overall volume and longer length of the Range 36. But we're talking about this guy. In his wheelhouse of 9mm, especially on PCCs, oh my word, very quickly becoming my favorite can in its size. I have some other cans that are shorter, smaller, and they do very well in their own right. However, when you increase the volume of stuff and you increase that flow through, it really, really shows, and it's very, very pleasant to shoot. Supers and subs, no problems with that at all. I did have a little bit of issue, and it could be a break-in thing. Maybe I need to shoot another 500 rounds through it or whatever, but I had a little bit of issue sometimes with it cycling on my pistols when I used their booster assembly, their booster housing and their piston. If I pull this thing out, since it's hub and I can do that, if I pull this thing out and put in like a Yankee Hill piston booster assembly thing in there, it worked fine. It worked very well. again, it could just be the fact that this is all brand new. The spring is, you know, super tight and all that stuff and all those things. It could be a lot of contributing factors to it. I think it really would just be a break-in thing. And since I have other piston assemblies and piston housings and pistons, I just used those and they worked out perfectly fine. So you might just need to break it in a little bit, or if you got other, you know, booster housings, you can use that. I'm gonna stop talking about that because I think I nailed that coffin to death, however that term goes. Anyway, I think that's it. If I keep talking, I'm just gonna ramble, and I don't appreciate it when people do that, and you probably don't either. So I think that's all I have to say about this. Honestly, if you want a high flow, if your priority is high flow, less back pressure, 9mm can, right now, currently, in the cans that I have, this is the one that I would recommend. There's other cans that are not high flow that sound better. I will say that. They sound better, they reduce the volume, but at the expense of additional back pressure. So depending on what you need, depending on what your uses are and stuff, you could look at different cans, or if you really prefer that high flow, this is really a good can to get. Really, really good can to get. So that's my 2 cents, or 2.5 cents. I droned on about it. Let me know what you guys think. Have you guys tried the Flow 9 KTI? Is this something that you would be interested you know, in putting on your gun? The maintenance schedule, I haven't cleaned this guy yet, but does the maintenance schedule scare you guys, and having to use a dip system and all that stuff? Because it's kind of a little bit interesting, because I'm going to have to get into that, and especially now that I get flow through cans and stuff, I'm going to have to really look into that a little bit more, because you can't clean these the same way as you can clean other cans, and you have to clean them more than you have to clean other cans. That's my understanding of it, but that's it. Y'all be good to be safe. I appreciate you guys. Really do. I really, really do. And hopefully we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.